when the canon, Timothy Brosnan, was given the task of creating a new church for the town of Cahersiveen. But at the time, in the 1880s, we were still dealing with the after effects of the famine. So Ireland was very poor, it was quite a depressing place. So we needed an inspiring name to get the people enthusiastic about this project. And Daniel O'Connell proved to be that inspiring name and gave people the energy to become involved in building our church. But at the time, there was only 2 other Roman Catholic churches in the entire world that were named after lay people. And if we were going to add this one to the list by naming it after a politician, we would have to get our permission directly from the Pope in order to build it. But before the canon went over to chat to the Pope, he decided that some interesting drawings would be needed to impress the Pope. So an architect from Cork, George Ashton, came down and he envisaged a Gothic-style church that could hold up to 2,000 people. Now again, around that time, the population was just tipping over 800, okay? So really, it was quite an ambitious build. But the canon okayed the plan, and with the plan, he headed over to the Vatican in 1884, and there he was granted a private audience with Pope Leo XII. Now when he got chatting to the Pope, it came to light that the Pope had actually heard Daniel O'Connell, when the Pope was a child, speak in the House of Commons in Westminster in London. And he was overcome by his passion and his strength and his willingness to fight for his people's freedom by using non-violent means. So, of course, he gave his permission for the building of the church, and he also sent down a cornerstone, which was taken from the catacombs in St. Clemens in Rome, for which the church would be built on. But we still had our biggest obstacle to overcome, and that was collecting enough money to build it. Now, Ireland was quite poor, so it would be difficult to generate the money from the island here. We couldn't go to Britain, who were in control of us at the time, because they were supporting the Church in England, and they would not finance a Catholic church. So we decided our only way of getting the money together was to contact the Irish people who had left our shores in their millions during the famine time. So we sent priests to America, Australia, and everywhere in between to contact these people and encourage them to help us fundraise the needed money and send it back here to Cahersiveen to build our church. Now slowly the money started trickling through and the church started to be built. But unfortunately the canon, Timothy Brosnan, died before the project was completed, and he is the only person to be buried in the church today. And where you see the scaffolding, his tomb is just behind that, and they're currently doing it up today. Now the first Mass was held here on 14th of December 1902, and has been continuing ever since. But if you look from the outside at the top of the church, you realize it's quite flat. It doesn't have the steeple that a lot of Catholic churches have. And the reason why there is no steeple is simply we ran out of money. Now it cost us £26,000 at the time to build it. Today we're repairing it and it's costing us €5 million. So unfortunately we cannot afford that flyer this time round either. Sometime in the future we might. So take this opportunity just to wander